Winter arc is upon us. Now, I'm not gonna lie, at first, I thought the winter arc hype was all cope. Like, why does it take the season to change for you to actually lock in? And I made a whole post on this. I was like, this is cope, you shouldn't need seasons, you should always lock in, whether it be spring, summer, winter. But then I started thinking from a different perspective, maybe because I'm in Florida, we really don't have seasons like that. But I was trying to put myself in somebody else's shoes. Spring, summer, it just overall brings a different vibe versus the wintertime, when the sun's going down earlier, when it's cold, when just the whole vibe is different, when it's the holidays, and I do think that people are way more likely to lock in the winter versus any other season. And so in this video, what I want to do is provide you some tips of how you can actually maximize your winter arc, because I'm going to be going through this too. Guys, self-improvement literally never stops. It doesn't matter how high you go. If anything, I think self-improvement gets harder the higher you go, because once you actually accomplish the things you want, more than likely, a lot of people will probably sabotage their success by going back into the bad habits that they were doing before they actually locked in. So whether you're trying to improve, or even if you're already at a point of success and you still want to get better, here's the things that I'm personally doing that I believe you should do too to overall maximize that winter arc. Now, the first thing we have to do, once again, make a commitment to ourselves. The thing about promises is that a lot of the time they are going to be broken, but whenever you learn to hold a word to yourself and go towards whatever goal you personally want to achieve, that word and that bond to yourself is the strongest thing possible. It could be for somebody else too. Maybe you want to give a word to, your future family, your parents, whatever it may be. But I've learned personally that holding a commitment and a word to myself, and even creating, a vision board or writing that down somewhere, or constantly reminding yourself behind your why, is what really helps me. So the first thing, obviously, establish your goals and hold the word to yourself. Up next, moving forward, we got 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I know this sounds so cliche, get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but it's so true, guys. Literally, I kid you not, yesterday, I probably had the worst day ever in terms of my mental health, in terms of my productivity, and it all came back down to my sleep. I checked my Oura Ring stats, which you guys know I track my sleep every single night. I checked the stats and it said I got 5.5 hours of sleep. And then I relayed that back to when I felt, the most positive, the most productive. And lo and behold, of course, I got 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And not every night is going to be perfect. We have nights where we stay up late, whatever it may be. But if you can really track your sleep, really aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep, watch how much better you're going to feel. I've spoken to some guys before and they're telling me that they sleep, 5 to 6 hours a night every single night. And I asked them why. They're like, I have insomnia, I have trouble sleeping. Well, that's something that you really, really have to work on. So I'm going to tell you what has helped for me. As of right now, zinc and magnesium before bed. Occasionally I'll take melatonin, but sometimes that makes it really, really hard to wake up in the morning. Also, if you're doing drugs at night in terms of like THC, edibles, weed, I'm telling you, it's gonna make your night sleep worse. I know you think that you're sleeping better, but trust me on this, trust me on this, trust me on this. I've tested this plenty of times. I've had in the past where I was borderline addicted to taking THC at night because I thought it was helping me sleep. But truth is, it just crashed my REM sleep. It made it harder to wake up in the morning. And also when I quit that, I noticed that I was just overall getting better sleep, 7 to 8 hours on a daily and regular basis. So up next, we got the early wake up. The early wake up time is pretty much going to set the whole entire foundation of this winter arc process and the journey. You have to wake up early. I'm not going to go into why this is so important because I made a whole video on this already. Go ahead, check it out on the channel. But you need to aim for at least 1 to 2 hours earlier than what you're used to waking up right now. If you're a guy and you're already waking up early, 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m., then obviously you don't have to change anything, but you guys know who you are. If you're sleeping in right now, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., not using an alarm, just kind of waking up when you want to, maybe because you have no obligations, maybe because you work, different shifts, night shifts or whatever, try and find a time to where it's almost borderline uncomfortable for you to wake up early. And it's going to be hard at first. It's always the first few days, very, very difficult. But over time, I would say after 3 to 4 or 5 days, max a week, your body's going to get used to it. And that's going to set the tone of productivity throughout the whole entire course of the day. Up next, we have to identify your absolutely worst habit and focus on improving that one habit. A lot of you guys probably have a multiple list of bad habits. You're watching porn, you're doing drugs, you're you're staying up late, you're sleeping in, you're scrolling social media 5 to 6 hours a day. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to take that one habit that you know is the absolute worst. And the way that you can identify your worst habit is by asking yourself, out of all my list of bad habits, which one is making it more difficult for me to actually complete the things that I need to do? Like I said, back in the past, for me, it was weed at night. The reason why weed made me struggle at night is because, for one, it will make me want to sleep in later, and I will have lazy days the next day because I'll have like this leftover brain fog. It will make it harder for me to articulate my thoughts. It will make me lazy, and thus allowing me to not take action on the things I need to. Or if I would take action, I would procrastinate for so long that it almost became worthless. For you, it might be something else. It might be alcohol. It might be social media, like I said. It might be, spending too much time doing things that don't bring you any value. Don't even try to even cut back a little bit. I want you to cut it out altogether. See, the thing about this winter art thing is that it's really not that much time. It's going to be anywhere from 3 to 4 months, but 3 to 4 months is still long enough for you to build and cut out bad habits and build good habits. And so moving into spring and summer, once you really locked in, over the winter time, it's going to make it that much easier. So up next, we got 2 hours a day of learning a money making skill. There's plenty of money making skills to choose from. For me, my favorite money making skill is personal branding and content creation. This is something that I'm naturally gravitated to. For you, it might be copywriting, it might be email marketing, it might be learning a trade. You have to learn something that brings value to society on a wide enough scale and that has leverage. You can either leverage other people's success, so maybe take somebody who already has a business or an audience or a personal brand and help them elevate their presence or make more money, or you can do this all yourself. I personally believe that everybody in 2024, moving into 2025, should try to establish some sort of personal brand online. This is exactly what I teach to my students on a weekly basis. Not only do we combine personal brand, but we also do dating aspects, fitness, habits, all that stuff. The reason why I teach this is because, once again, I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm good at it. Based on your personality, based on your skill set, based on the things you naturally like doing, which sort of skill are you naturally more gravitated to that's going to help bring more dollars into your pocket? You keep doing the same things, you're still going to get the same results. So something has to change. You have to have a curiosity about the world. You have to continuously be learning. And that's why I also value college, is because, you're obviously continuously in that learning phase, but a lot of you guys really haven't learned anything since high school. And that's the reason why you feel held back. So once again, take 2 hours a day to learn a money making skill. There's plenty to choose from. You don't have to take a course, and you don't even have to take a mentor. The internet is your best resource. Go to YouTube University, search some things up. There's tons of free courses online. If you guys want more help personal branding and leveraging your online presence, then obviously you can work with me too. I'm gonna leave a link down below, but take the time to actually learn something that's going to help bring you value. Now, obviously, I can't leave fitness out of this. Hopefully, most of you guys are working out. That's an obvious point that I don't necessarily want to bring up, but I do believe if you are trying to maximize your physique, your body, this point in time is a perfect time to lean bulk. A lean bulk is when you're in a slight caloric surplus of around 150 to max 200 calories per day, and you're getting around half a pound a week or sometimes even lower. Basically, you start at a low body fat percentage, 10, 11, 12%, and then slowly build your way up to max around 15% body fat, which could take around 3 to 4 months, which is why this is the perfect time. And then you cut just enough in time for spring. Now, the reason why people usually tend to bulk during the winter, and it makes it a lot easier in the process, is because, we're not shirtless. We're not trying to show our abs. We're wearing layers and clothing and things like that. And so for the most part, nobody's really going to see your physique. So this is the perfect time to actually start building muscle, start taking your training seriously, start taking your progressive overload seriously, maybe even start tracking your lifts, and definitely start tracking your calories and your diet. Myself, I'm on an eating schedule right now. I like to do 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. This is what works best for me. It allows me to hit my calories, allows me to hit my protein, and overall allows me to accomplish my goals in terms of the fitness realm, in which I'm always, striving to improve that area. So as you see, when it comes to maximizing your winter arc, it's actually very simple. However, it can be very, very hard to execute. But remember, make the promise to yourself, make the commitment, and as long as you can show up every single day, I promise you, you're going to be an unrecognizable person by the time spring comes. All right, so let's get this thing started. It's already October. November, I believe, where it actually starts in terms of the season changing, the weather changing. And we got this, guys. All right, let's go. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.